the leadership of the state, Chief Akwa Ibom, has as a prime interest a possibility of even getting all those artificial boundaries separating local governments from one another dissolved. And this he is trying to do by the level and extensive way through which he is trying to turn Akwa Ibom into a city-state.
Into a city-state?
Into a city-state. Because that is what it will turn out to be when all the road infrastructures that link them, that are currently under works, are being commissioned. So he takes development to every part of the state. Akwa Ibom is somebody who wants to teach to our people that you do not need to produce a governor to have amenities and infrastructures and facilities in your locality. He wants to reduce that kind of fight and friction that is often experienced during elections in the state to the barest minimum by convincing everybody that you don't need to produce a governor to have roads. You don't need to produce a governor in your community to have schools, to have hospitals.
That's the people themselves.
And that is why he is taking all these facilities and amenities to every part of the state. I invite those in the diaspora to come to the state and see what is happening.
Are there investment opportunities?
There are investment opportunities. I invite all those in diaspora to come home and see what is happening. But I will take no responsibility if you miss the road to your house in the process. because you won't locate your place.
You recognize.
If you had left this place 2 years ago and you have cause to come back, there's no way you can locate your house. So I will take no responsibility when that happens.
Because there will be a highway.
Yes. And I remember the governor had said, he told me, look, deputy, even if we can't succeed in doing anything, let us confuse Akwa Ibom people with development, so that even when our brothers return from abroad, they will not know the road to their house. And I am happy that this thing is happening. So it is not true that the resources of the state is therefore concentrated in the hands of some people. No, there's nothing like that. Who are these people? If you are talking about the persons that surround the governor as personal aides, you cannot even say that these personal aides are brothers to the governor or are from his own immediate senatorial district.
Some of them are from
He's not that kind of a person. At the last count, what we found out, the governor has about 23 personal assistants, and we found that about 19 of them were BBOs.
Which brings me to another topic about the BBOs and the Anans. And some BBOs are saying that the Anans are using this administration to become super wealthy and to suppress the BBOs and to remove the BBOs from their traditional position of being the ones to lead the state.
That is also another figment of afterthought and imagination of whoever decided to hold such an opinion. We have a great deal of Ibibio people in this administration, and we do not have a separate policies for the Anang people, a separate policies for Orang people, a separate policies for Ibibio people. Every citizen of Akwa Ibom State is guided and directed by a single policy of government established and approved by the Executive Council. Contracts are awarded according to best international practices. Biddings are done, publications are done in newspapers, and those who tender, a day is fixed, and then the tender is open, and it's highly competitive.
So it's not true that the BBOs are not being empowered.
I do not have grounds. I do not see why anybody should make such a insinuation. As much as possible, we in this administration want to see how we can build the state in the most needed form, where traditional distinction between Ibibio and Anang
does not exist.
Dissolves. Yes. And I am happy that we are well on the path of achieving that. But you see, sometimes I do not blame people, because it is a particular way of life in humanity that once somebody is used to way of behavior,
Yeah.
It becomes very difficult to get him to drop it and pick up a new one. I also sympathize with those who suffer such level of deformity, because I know that it is always a painful thing to drop an established way of life to pick up a new one. Because between the time you have made a conscious choice to drop this way of life and when you have to pick up a new one,
Yes.
a vacuum exists.
Yes.
And that vacuum means pains.
Yes.
And because a human being is an animal that is naturally a rational minimizer of pains
Yes.
and maximizer of pleasure,
Yes.
we run away from whatever inflicts pains and move over to that which brings pleasure. So the process, therefore, of dropping an established way of life to pick up another one that brings pains
Yes.
is not fashionable to a normal human being. So, but we are trying to also find a way, because as we try to raise Akwa Ibom State from the barren depth of interpersonal abuse
Yes.
to an exhilarating height where clearly stated ideals become our focus and dominate our public thinking, we also believe it is not just Akwa Ibom State that must develop. As Akwa Ibom State advances,
Yes.
its own people
Yes.
must also advance.
Yes.
Not just Akwa Ibom. The people of Akwa Ibom must also advance at the same pace. And so we have a program that is not yet unfolded, which will try to articulate this by broadening the minds of Akwa Ibom people and getting them raised to the stage of evolution that our time requires. And I believe that once, by the grace of God, we are able to reach that level of sophistication,
Yes.
then the possibilities of people being parochial in their thinking
Yes.
and bringing considerations that have to do with clannishness
Yes.
into every serious issue that is being discussed and done in the state
Yes.
will be reduced to the barest minimum.
Wonderful. My final question, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for your time. I know there's been a ban in terms of second term bids, but my next question has got something to do with that.
Yes.
Why should the people of Akwa Ibom State vote Governor Godswill Akpabio for a second term? Your administration, Your Excellency, for a second term.
Yeah.
What projects are on ground? Why should we go back to the ballot in 2011 and say we need to give Governor Godswill Akpabio a second term?
Let me tell you, in the first place, I am an optimist, but I dream dreams as well. And in my dream, I have been able to see a state that we have tried to put on a path where the distinction between tribes within it no longer exists. I am one person who would want to hold on to that value. The immediate past administration of Akwa Ibom State was headed by Obama time. Yes. And we knew the problems, financial problems that the state had within that period. Things started improving maybe around 2004, 2005. And in the process, the administration, which the governor and I, the current governor and I, were also part and parcel of, had to scamper doing projects here and there which it could not complete. Most of those projects we are completing. But if the administration ended up having a second term and the governor served for 8 years, and within 2 years, we have been able to achieve what we have been able to succeed in achieving in terms of infrastructural developments within the Akwa Ibom State.